going on?
What's up? Hello.
Exclamation
Hello,
point
everybody.
start. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What up, Cassie? Hello, Cassie.
Hi, Cassie.
Hey, Blaze. Hey,
Lazy.
Gangrene.
Gangrene. What up, homie? Super Bowl. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's all I'm gonna say about it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. What's going on, guys? We got a dope show today. It's gonna be a little bit shorter of a show, as I'm sure some of you can imagine. There's not a lot of stuff to cover these days in the NFL. So rather than just kind of filling a show with as much filler as we could, and just being like, oh yeah, fucking talk about this, talk about that. Like, I don't know, we're just gonna kind of let it go and run its course. When we're out of stuff to talk about, then we're gonna shut it down. We're not gonna aim for any specific time frame. But anyway, what's up, Av?
Not much. I can't believe football's over. Like,
It's
almost over. We
almost
got one game left. Feels like it just started.
two if you count the Pro Bowl. And I do kind of want to talk about the Pro Bowl a little bit today. There's a little bit more about it than I realized. Did you know there's a dodgeball game associated with it?
Really? I didn't know that. I know they're
Mm-hmm.
playing flag football, and they're supposed to be doing, like, kinda similar to, like, you know how baseball does, like, the home run derby? They're supposed to be
Mm-hmm.
doing, like, the nicest catch or best catch or something
Right.
like that. Did you see that?
So I did. And normally that stuff is kind of done under wraps. Like they'll do some events like that, but Athens kind of quiet, bro. That's weird. Talk for me, Af.
Hello? Am I I'm not muted or anything,
No,
so
no, no. You're good. You're just a little quieter. Just keep talking so I can hear
okay.
you.
Yeah. XFL coming soon, yeah. I seen, like, an ad for that on TV.
Vamp. Is that better, Blaze? I think that sounds better. I turned it up
Yeah.
a bit.
I mean, I don't know. I
Yeah,
can't
you wouldn't be
hear
able to hear it. But
myself.
so anyway, the Pro Bowl, way better, dope. The Pro Bowl, you have like the dodgeball. There's all kind of different events going on, and they used to cover that, or they never used to cover that stuff. Rather, they would have it, but it would be like without an audience. It didn't get televised or anything like that. This year, it's still not going to have an audience, but it is getting televised for the first time, which is kind of cool. Oh, Morty's Mortuary, what's up, homie? Thanks for the lurk, appreciate you. Uh, but yeah, so that's going to be televised, which is kind of cool. Which means we'll get to see the weird as dodgeball shit and the fucking best catch. And they're going to continue to events. So it's going to be Thursday is going to be the weird shit, and then
What, this
Sunday,
Thursday?
yeah.
Okay.
So Thursday is going to be like old elementary school field days. That's actually a great point. That's exactly what it's similar to. They're having listen to this, kick tack toe. So they're going to have kickers and
Seen that.
punters. Yeah, they're gonna play tic tac toe with kicking the
That's
ball.
cool.
Yeah,
That's
that
cool.
sounds like fun. As you've already mentioned, the best catch, they're gonna just judge on who can make the most like crazy fucking catch kind of deal. So yeah, more on that later. Let's talk about that later. But anyway, Eagles in the Super Bowl. Yeah, Blaze. I know. I know.
Philly, it's gonna be crazy. If they win,
If
I was talking with my friend about maybe possibly going to Philly that night
you
if they
really want to
win.
go, you just want to see the
Just to
horse
see
poop eaters in action,
just
huh?
to see just to see, all the excitement and stuff.
They've already started like greasing up poles and shit like that with axle grease just to make sure that the Eagles fans can't climb on them.
What up, Jugs? The acting show. How you
Yeah, there was not really much of a point for me to acknowledge Jugs was here since he just comes in with, where the Vikings at? What you mean where Vikings at?
They choked.
Vikings didn't even get past the Giants.
Mm-mm.
We'll still climb them poles. Hell yeah. Fucking.
I seen someone, there was a video going around that they were on a street in Philly and they were like on top of like a New Jersey well, not New Jersey, but a transit stop for a bus. And it showed like all these people like dancing on the top of it. And then this lady like fell through and she fell and she like they had to call 911. And the whole time they show her like she's just happy, Eagles going to the Super
Oh
Bowl.
my
Meanwhile,
god.
she's getting a neck brace put on by paramedics and just giving a thumb, Eagles, EAGLES, going
Oof,
crazy.
that's
I know,
wild.
it's wild.
Classic Eagles fans though. Yeah, so let's get into some of these games real quick, right? You ready?
Yeah.
Don't you start your shit, Blaze.
Ah.
No. Absolutely not. All right. So the first game being being the Eagles and 49ers. Man,
This game was
there's
wild.
Jesus Christ, there's not really much to talk about here, is there?
It was just wild in the fact that you have the first quarter, Brock Purdy gets hurt, so then they have their backup come in, and then he gets hurt with a concussion. So then, like, at one point, Brock Purdy came back, but then at one point they had Christian McCaffrey playing quarterback, which is he's the running back.
And you
It
know,
was wild.
it's not even about like the whole, quarterback got injured. The refs were a little bit biased towards because this game was just horribly officiated, and honestly, so was the other game. It's not just this one. This is a great mention right here. Fantastic catch. If it was actually a fucking catch, this catch changes the momentum for the Eagles. This game might not be the same if this catch never happens. Regardless, we're not going to get into what if scenarios. What I can say though is like the injuries to the fucking quarterbacks, the refs, blah, 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 all this extra shit. I'm not going to sit here and talk about all that. The Eagles won, all right? They fucking dominated the entire game. But what really sucks the most to me is I want to see the game where both teams are playing at their best. I wanted to fucking, as a football fan, I wanted this game to go without a hitch. So like the version of this game that we got, I'm not just disappointed because I wanted to see the Eagles lose as a Giants fan, but I'm more disappointed as a football fan that we didn't get to see this fucking amazing two teams go at it the way that we know they could have. You know what I mean? That's what sucks to me.
Yeah. Because the Eagles just dominated, like
They
you
did.
said.
They did. They just steamrolled it. Once Brock Purdy was out, like they
It
just it
fell apart.
was
Everything just
yeah.
and it like, don't get me wrong, the defense still showed up because the Eagles could have scored a lot more points than what they did, and their 49ers defense definitely shut them down. Because there was a couple interceptions, but once again they were able to stop them and
Yeah.
stuff. So score could
And
have
see, that's
definitely
what I
been
mean.
higher.
Like, if the defense had a little bit more rest because the offense was actually existent, you know what I mean? Then they would have even been playing at a higher caliber. And it was just wild to see how good their defense was in the beginning of this game when the momentum was still there, available for either team. Man, it was really starting to shape up to be like a crazy good game. And then like the unthinkable happens, and it's like, fuck. And like I said, it sucks that it went down that way. And it's not even me just saying that as a Giants fan. It's just like as a football fan, I wanted to see more. We have to give a shout out to the QBs though. Yeah, the ones that all the ones that played, including the running back who is also a quarterback.
It's snowing outside.
Like here currently, IRL?
Yeah.
I'll be damned.
In real life, yeah. Guys, first one. Maybe we'll get some snow.
But no, Blaze does bring up a good point about talking about the quarterbacks. Obviously, we can't mention much about San Fran's quarterbacks, but Jesus Christ, I mean, as if I need to say it any further, Jalen Hurts was on point. The Eagles' offense was on point. For it to be going against such a great defense, like boy, that is a scary fucking team. They are definitely Super Bowl caliber, and it is crazy to see like them against the Chiefs now because the Chiefs look pretty good too. Obviously, we got more to talk about that in just a moment here when we finish with this one, but it's definitely going to be a fucking fun game to watch because, like, not for nothing, but you have some of these weird Super Bowls every once in a while where a team gets in just because they had a streak of luck or something like that. And they come in and they just get shitted on because they don't really belong there. But when two teams are both there, both of the teams are number one seed. There's two number one seeds going against each other. So hopefully this is going to be the game that we wanted with the San Fran and Eagles game.
I feel like that hasn't happened in a while since you had two teams in the Super Bowl that were number one. Like recently, like the number one seeds have been getting knocked out. Like in the last couple of years, Tennessee, one of them. Sorry, Silent Maze. Like
Green Bay last year too, I think.
Yeah, the Green Bay was one of them. So yeah, the fights. Oh yeah, the fights, man. That the 49ers were trying to like all their men just went on the field ready to fight, but the Eagles, a lot of them were like, oh no, because they could get suspended if they go to the Super Bowl, not playing the game. It was wild. Did you see the fight?
No, I shut this game off after halftime. There was no need to watch it anymore. Good Lord. It was just I would keep up with the score and all of that, but the game just kind of bored me after so long. It was just like, okay, this is going to be another game where the Eagles are just shitting on the other team
I
after a
seen that
certain
Steve
point.
I said that I seen a tweet that Steve Young posted and saying that he was warming up in the parking lot if they needed a quarterback.
Wow, is that true, Gangrene? The last time both teams were the number one seed were the Eagles and Patriots in 2017.
Oh, and the Eagles won that year.
Mm, that one still hurts a little bit.
So they say there's a curse. So
Like honestly, in all seriousness, not to go into a rant here, but you knew me, and you knew. I mean, obviously you knew me, right? 2017, you understood what that game was to me. I told you several times throughout that playoff run for the Eagles. The Eagles have no business being where they are. That's one of those teams I'm talking about. When I say that the Eagles had no business being a Super Bowl contender that year, they had fucking Nick Foles as a quarterback. The guy got a statue for himself. And like, holy shit, what are they doing now? Like, Nick Foles ain't shit now. It was just a lucky fucking thing. It's crazy. It's crazy how much shit had to work out for them there for that to work like that. But this is what I mean. Like, then I was pissed about them winning the Super Bowl more than anything because like they just didn't belong there. Now, and I'm a salty fucking Giants fan. Now I would be much more accepting of this team winning a Super Bowl because this team fucking deserves a Super Bowl win if they're going to win. The Eagles are fucking crazy good this year. This is the best I've ever seen the Eagles look in all my years of watching football. And that's through all the Andy Reid years.
Yeah. And Andy Reid gets to see his old team.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Speaking of Andy Reid, oh shit, right?
So did you know about the curse real quick? Like, so there's supposedly a curse
Go
that
ahead.
whenever a fan of if the Eagles in the championship game or even when they were in the Super Bowl last and um whoever like if the opposing team puts like a jersey on the Rocky statue, they've lost. Like the opposing team has lost and the Eagles have won. So that happened with the 49ers game. That happened with the 2007
Oh my God.
2017 Super Bowl. That happened that's happened a couple times. Like and every time they've done that, the Eagles have prevailed. So just a little
See,
fun fact.
I feel like sometimes, yeah. Okay. All right. You're right. That's cool. Rocky got our back. You bet.
I know you love Rocky and you hate the Eagles, so me
Well, I
putting in
mean, like, there's part of me that just wants to be like, this is just another case of Eagles fans being like, hey, guess what? There's a thing about us. Like, y'all got enough shit. Stop trying to add shit to that resume. This is ridiculous. I don't see that being a real curse. I mean, first of all, how many times are you going to put a jersey on the Rocky statue when you're going against the Eagles? Unless they're a relevant team, and unless it's you know what I mean? Like if it's the Eagles we got last year, for example, nobody's going to Philly and putting a jersey on the Rocky statue because nobody's expecting to lose that game, so they don't give a shit. They're not going to take the time to disrespect the fucking, you know what I mean? That'd be like picking on the Houston Texans this year. Nobody's going to do that. Like, it just wasn't necessary. So, like, of course, Eagles fans would be like, well, we haven't lost games that the opposing team did that to the Rocky statue. Of course not, because y'all were good. That's why they're doing it. Anyway. What up, Mace? I see Silent Mace here.
What up, Silent Mace?
I love Andy Reid. Andy Reid's a fucking G. And I mean, Gangrene, help me out with this one. Do you remember how much the Eagles fans hated Andy Reid in his last couple of years? Am I misremembering that? Because I swear I remember him just being hated. Not saying that I, am doubting myself, but like, it just seems like everybody's just like, oh man, I love Andy Reid now, I don't know. Am I crazy for that? But Eagles definitely dominated this game. I do have questions though, Af. I completely forgot about my questions. So like we got the questions like we did last week, right? With the question for each team. We'll do the losing team first, San Francisco. Honestly, who in the hell is going to be their quarterback in 2023?
I thought it was Trey Lance, but I don't know. He's a rookie. I mean, they need to win now. They have, Christian McCaffrey is not getting any younger. Deebo Samuel is not getting any younger. So they might go for Tom Brady. That's his favorite team.
I mean, that's what my talk was last week with him. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Brady over there. But
Maybe
man,
someone
there's
like Derek
just
Carr.
yeah. Well, that's a possibility,
Possibility.
I suppose. So yeah, I don't know. That's just a fun little thing. There's so many different. I've never seen a team with so many different possible quarterbacks potentially next year. You know, that's
Being
funny.
said though, where does Jimmy G go? Where do you think he would be a good
Where
fit?
do all of these
Jets?
quarterbacks go? You know,
Like,
like I suppose they're definitely getting rid of Jimmy Garoppolo,
I
right? Like
think
that's
you guys
probably
might
a
get a
safe bet.
quarterback. I think you guys might sign and maybe get like someone like Jimmy G. You know what I mean?
No, that's an expensive backup right there. I don't think we're getting that.
No, he'll play and Daniel Jones be your backup. You
Okay.
know, or alternate.
We might have to shut the show down. Clearly, Afton here has bumped her head somewhere along the day because I don't know. She's just talking crazy right now. Reed has
You
to be
think
a scheming genius. Mahomes always has a wide open check down for 5 to 7 yards. I mean, okay, let's think about this, right? You
Hey,
got
Runa.
Patrick Mahomes. Oh shit, what's up, Runa? You got Patrick Mahomes, right? Who is fucking incredible at what he does at quarterback. He's super crazy good at improvising, all of that, right? And then you
Yeah.
have Andy Reid, who well-renowned great coach. And then you have Travis Kelce as the normal target for that check down 5 to 7 yard receiver. You know what I mean? So like that's just fucking, what do you want to call that? Gary Payton to Sean Kemp. That's Penny Hardaway to Shaquille O'Neal. That's Kobe Bryant to Shaquille O'Neal. That's LeBron James to Shaquille O'Neal. God damn, that motherfucker play with everybody. You know what I mean? That's just bread and butter right there. So it makes sense, but I'm sure all three of them just kind of come together for that beautiful thing. Greatest coach in history. I was one of the few to not turn on him. Me too. I was pretty pleased when the Eagles got rid of him because I was like, yes, they're dumb enough to do that. And then in comes Chip Kelly, and everyone's going, oh my God, Chip Kelly. And then Chip Kelly just fucking gets fired 2 years later. Wow, excuse me. All right. But yeah, so fucking Eagles are moving on. And before I get started on this Chiefs game, I did have an Eagles question for you. In arguably the toughest division in all of football this year, what are the odds the Eagles find just as much success next year?
Well, I think they will. Maybe they might not be the number 1 seed, but I could definitely see them be either 1 or 2, because of, you got A.J. Brown, he's gonna be there next year. Devontae Smith still gonna be there. Jalen Hurts is gonna be there. Like, as far as their offense, they got a couple of free agents, free agencies, like, with the defense and stuff, but I feel like they'll still be a good team next year as well,
Mm.
you know?
That is,
You don't think so?
that's beautifully answered. I can't even find a single flaw in what you just said. That was great. I see that. I see what Runa's saying, and I'm just like, man, do you realize I'm lucky enough to be married to this woman? This is incredible. Anyway, that's well put. I can't even argue that. I mean, but for real though, NFC Beast, the Giants, the Cowboys, the Eagles, all doing incredibly well this year. Fuck.
Yeah, I could definitely see them being either the 1 seed or the 2 seed. They're not gonna be like, I don't see them being like the Rams. Like, go to the Super Bowl 1 year, be dominant, and then the next year, like,
Sure.
not have a
But I mean, we kind of seen that happening with the Rams too, because like they went out and started getting all these contracts, these one-off 1-year contracts between Von Miller, OBJ. You know what I mean? Like we kind of knew this was going to happen to some degree. Maybe not to this extreme where they only get 4 wins this year, but we kind of figured that they were going to fall off a little bit. But anyway, enough about other teams. Let's focus on the Chiefs and Bengals game because this was a fucking game. I enjoyed the hell out of this game personally.
Yeah, this game was nonstop. It was back and forth. And it was good.
Mm-hmm. Our defense is going to be the big question mark. You think so, gang? Well, I mean, honestly, I don't see that as a... Okay, so here's my take on the Super Bowl matchup. It's going to be the Chiefs and Eagles, right? These are both offensively powerful teams. They both have incredible offenses. By the way, Kadarius Toney hurt again. Anyway, they both have incredible offenses. So, like, obviously, there's going to be a need for some defense there, right? But like, yeah, like the last fucking time the Eagles won the Super Bowl, exactly. The Patriots and Eagles that year, they didn't have any good defense. Like, what y'all score like 50 to 53 or some shit? Like that shit was crazy. So I mean, I see the same idea here. Like, y'all don't need a defense. You just need to battle it out. See who gets the ball last. That's the kind of Super Bowl I like to see.
What's up, Shy?
Well, hey Shy, what's going on, homie?
Can we talk about Violent's own Isaiah Pacheco?
So
Oh my
here's the
God.
reason why me and Af are kind of
Ooh.
like smitten with the Kansas City Chiefs right now. As we've mentioned before, the rookie running back Isaiah Pacheco, number 10, he's getting the ball right here. He is just exploding in the postseason right now, and he's from our hometown. Like, it's just cool as hell to see
Like,
this kind of shit. Like,
yeah,
he
him
played on the
winning the
same
Super
football
Bowl
team I played
will be
before. You
big.
know?
Yeah, him winning the
Yeah,
Super Bowl will be big for our town, for our county and stuff like that will be super big.
absolutely. And there's something to be said about us constantly being, I don't know if you want to call it shadowed, but okay, hold on. Let me back this up a second. We interrupt this fucking thought process for this very special play. Can I just show this play off real quick? So this is the Chiefs ball. This is going. I am expecting to see some shit like this in the Super Bowl. Chiefs ball.
Yeah.
Mahomes drops back for a pass. He throws the ball. This is not the play. It's the next play. Don't worry, it's coming. It's worth it, I promise. Chiefs ball. Okay. Mahomes drops back. Yeah, he drops back for a pass. He finds Kelsey, and then Kelsey immediately pitches it, and he just fucking doesn't complete the pitch there. But can I just point this out? Like, this is a design play. This is like fucking next level. Like, if this is the way that I think it's supposed to be, this is exactly what we're talking about with Andy Reid being a fucking genius or the offensive coordinator. Either way, like, to catch this and be able to pitch this out on a design play. If he gets this, and that's at least an additional 10 yards, maybe 20. And if he can burn one or two guys, that's a touchdown easily. Like, that is insane. I seen that and I was just like, holy fuck, I want to see more of that. And I'm almost wondering if we're starting to see a peek into the future of the NFL, where the meta of the game is going to go. Like 10 years from now, everybody might be doing that.
Yeah. It's definitely changing.
Yeah, that's like as innovative as the forward pass once was. You know what I mean? Like, the game used to be about nothing but running plays, and then all of a sudden they were like, "Oh, hey, let's try out this forward pass thing." And even when it was a rule, nobody really utilized it because there was no great
Yeah.
quarterbacks yet. You know?
Can I just say how happy I was that the Chiefs beat Cincinnati? Yeah, Cincinnati beat the Bills last week, so, it was bittersweet. I mean, don't
Y'all
get me
got that.
wrong, though, Cincinnati was right there with with the Chiefs and stuff. I
Yeah.
mean, it was what? A field goal was the difference, like,
So
they were pissed, Kansas City, because they were calling it Burrowhead, like, even, like, they showed afterwards, Travis Kelce was saying like, "Oh no, this isn't Burrowhead. That's what y'all like. That's what y'all get for thinking that it was."
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
even quoted The Rock,
yeah.
like
Travis
called
Kelsey's fucking
called jabronis and stuff.
he's
Like, I haven't
crazy.
heard that since the '90s.
So speaking, I want to go back to a second with you saying about the Bills and the Bengals, and you wanted the Bengals to lose and everything. After this year's postseason, it's easy to see why Mahomes, Burrow, and Josh Allen are called rivals. So who else in the AFC could you see being added to that list next year, or does it keep the exclusivity that it has now?
Wait, can you repeat the beginning part?
Right. So, like, after this postseason, with the Bengals and Bills going at it, and then now the Bengals and Chiefs going at it, you got Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, and Josh Allen. Easily,
Okay.
you can see why they're called rivals. So, do
Yeah.
you see another quarterback getting added to that mix up next year, or do you think it just keeps those same three
I
people?
see maybe not next year, but I see potentially I think Justin Herbert has potential. I think, this is this will be his 3rd year coming in, and
Hmm.
his rookie year, oh my gosh, to be a quarterback and to do what he does and stuff or did, like, I could see him potentially see the Chargers being up there eventually. Maybe not next year, but I definitely see it soon,
They
you
have
know?
they got the offensive coordinator from the Cowboys.
Yeah. So
They just hired him.
I think we'll see a difference and stuff, and they have key players and stuff, They I
Yeah.
mean, they made it to the playoffs. I mean, granted they didn't.
On paper, they should be successful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
agree
I
with that
definitely
completely.
see. And I think if they're not where they're supposed to, like, I think that they see the potential, and I think that if they don't make it far next year, they're gonna definitely get rid of their coach and then start, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Because I mean, they have key players. Austin Eckler's good. Like, I mean, they have players
Like
there.
Williams, sure, yeah.
Yeah, so that would be my pick.
Okay, so I know you don't want to speak highly of this newfound rival, but this is the third year for Joe Burrow. And it's only the second year he played in a full season, the first year being cut off by an injury. So with both full seasons, he led the Bengals to at least a championship game. With that kind of resume, are we expecting anything short of a playoff run from the Bengals next year?
Oh yeah, they'll definitely. You're gonna be in the playoffs all the time. Like,
Do you
look
think
at
they win
them
the
since
division? So just to give you an idea, division is Ravens, Steelers, Bengals, Browns.
it all depends. Is Lamar Jackson staying in Baltimore? Like that, I could definitely see them winning a lot of the like almost. I don't know. I don't know. It really depends on
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson. He might not be in Baltimore, and in that case, I would say, oh yeah, they're definitely gonna be first. First place in that division all the time. You know
But
what I mean?
definitely at least a playoff spot, you're saying.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're definitely, whether it be because they're first place or coming in on a wild card. You know,
Mm.
they're
Mm-hmm.
definitely coming. They're gonna be like the Patriots. They'll probably be there every year,
I think, yeah, yeah. Okay.
like in the playoffs.
Right.
Or Green Bay, similar to Green Bay. Green Bay it used to be in the playoffs every year, whether they made it to the second round, third round, whatever.
So God, we got to talk about this, right? Like going into the Super Bowl. We're not going to talk a ton about the Super Bowl because we're going to have an episode next week where we get to do that. So next week we're going to, I guess, kind of cover the Pro Bowl a little bit, but then at the same time we're going to really talk up the Super Bowl leading into it and everything like that. But I kind of wanted to do a thing where maybe we can have like some Super Bowl memories, like not necessarily from the actual games themselves, but maybe just some cool stories that you want to tell from old Super Bowls that you've seen or something like that. So just to give you an idea for what to bring next week, Af.
Okay. So like it would be like the one I told you earlier today. I mean, it wasn't a Super Bowl, but like when the Eagles won.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. Something
Back
like
in
that.
2000.
Or even like we could talk about the time when you seen me with the Giants Super Bowl in 2011,
Mm.
2012 season.
That's vague. I remember somewhat, but you gotta remember I
But
was
I'm just
I was
but
scared.
I'm just saying like that's an example of what I'm talking about.
I
Uh
gotcha.
just to give you an idea of what to expect. Gonna make a bet about the flag football game. Oh, that's a fun idea. Who does Mama Kelsey want to see win? Oh, that's a good talk too. See,
She won't have to worry about losing because both are, one of her sons are gonna
that's
win.
true. That's true. You have to imagine like
They both have
Travis.
one ring.
They both seem to have a pretty good sense of humor. I'm wondering if that comes from the mom side, and if so, I'm wondering if she's like buying into the whole thing and just being like, "Oh well, I guess Travis is my favorite son this year," you know, just fucking around with shit like that. Flag football game. Let's talk about that a little bit. Let's transition a little bit here. Let's switch scenes. Go here. Actually, what's this one? Let's do this one. It's the one we want. And let's talk about the Pro Bowl a little bit. You want to, Af?
We can.
Just for a little bit while we have some time here. One thing I want to mention is the flag football game, like Gangrene is talking about there. Let's just go over some of the roster that we have here and some of the changes to it because of recent events. So, for example, the quarterback of the AFC, let's go over some of the AFC players here. So, obviously, Patrick Mahomes was the starter quarterback for the Pro Bowl, but he is going to the Super Bowl and not going to compete. So, the quarterbacks, Josh Allen is injured all of a sudden. So I think Joe Burrow is still going to play, and it's going to be Joe Burrow, Tyler Huntley, Snoop Huntley, and Trevor Lawrence from Jacksonville. And
Cool. Trevor Lawrence deserve it.
yeah, I think. Well, I don't really get the Snoop Huntley part, but whatever. I mean, sure, I guess. And then Derek Carr.
Jackson was out for a little while.
Then Derek Carr, if they need be, will be the next alternate quarterback.
Derek Carr, and he's not even with the Raiders anymore.
I know, wild, right?
Yeah.
Running back Nick Chubb. Listen to this running back. Nick Chubb is a starter, then Josh Jacobs and Derrick Henry as the backups. Like, holy shit.
Damn.
And then Tyreek Hill and Stephon Diggs as the wide receivers with Jamar Chase and Devontae Adams as backups.
Wow.
Yes, I mean, they're kind of stacked, right? Like, that's what the Pro Bowl should be. Travis Kelce, you got obviously great offensive line. And
But
then
Like Travis Kelce, people who are in the Super Bowl for like the Eagles and the Chiefs, they're not going to be there because obviously you don't
right,
want to risk
so
them getting
there's
hurt
Mark
or anything like
Andrews, the
that.
tight end from Baltimore, and then the backup would be
Mhm.
Dawson Knox from Buffalo.
Oh, okay. Really?
Uh,
Dawson Knox?
yeah, I mean he was a backup one. Sauce Gardner made it to the Pro Bowl, the
Cool.
rookie. Yeah.
I like his commercials, like when he's putting the sauce.
And just to go over some of the NFC, the quarterbacks aren't as impressive, and they kind of struck me as odd for who made it. So Jalen Hurts, obviously the
Danny Dimes?
starter, but he's not going to be playing because of the Super Bowl. No Danny Dimes. He got a snub. Listen to who they picked instead. Geno Smith, Kirk,
Okay. Well, you know what? He earns it. He earns it.
Kirk
He
Cousins,
earned it.
and Jared Goff.
Jared Goff should be there.
Okay,
Come
let
on.
me
How about
say the
that?
AFC quarterbacks again. Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes.
But no
The
Dak
NFC
Prescott?
The NFC gets Geno Smith, Kirk Cousins, and Jared Goff. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, I don't know why Cousins. I could see Jared Goff. Like, come on, Detroit. Like
I
Detroit
don't
in the last
know.
like 10
Detroit
games they
won
played.
those games as a team, though. I don't really necessarily know if
True,
Jared.
true,
Yeah, Kirk
true.
fucking Cousins. Exactly, Gangry. Like, how much of that was Kirk Cousins and how much of that was Justin Jefferson? He had some moments where he looked good. Geno Smith, he deserves it. I give you that. But to give Dak the snub and end Danny Dimes, like,
What about
I don't
Aaron
know.
Rodgers? He's not
What
even.
about
People don't
Aaron
like
Rodgers? Right.
people don't like him, do they? Like, I feel like a lot. Like, if you're not a Green Bay Packer fan, like I feel like people don't like him because he does come across as arrogant and like he would be an asshole and stuff. I feel like just from listening to like sports and stuff like that, a lot of people don't like him because of how like spoken he is and
Oh,
things he
yeah.
says, things he does.
Running backs, we got Saquon Barkley, obviously.
Okay.
And then the
Yeah.
backups are Tony Pollard and not Miles Sanders because he's going to
Tony
the Super
Pollard's
Bowl.
injured.
Tony
I
Pollard's
wonder who they
injured.
got.
So the alternates are Dalvin Cook and Christian McCaffrey. I think we're going to be just fine there.
Oh, Christian McCaffrey.
Saquon, Dalvin Cook, and Christian McCaffrey. That's a running back setup right there.
That's stacked like the quarterbacks for the AFC.
But they're running. Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay, so then you got
Who has the
Justin
AFC
Jefferson.
running back?
I told you already. The running backs for the AFC was Nick Chubb, Josh Jacobs, and Derrick Henry. So they're both good.
Okay. Oh yeah, you did. Okay.
Wide receivers, Justin Jefferson and AJ Brown. AJ Brown obviously isn't going. So CD Lamb, Terry McLaurin, and Amon-Ra St. Brown from Detroit.
Okay.
Who definitely deserves it.
Yeah. They all deserve it.
And then George Kittle and TJ Hawkinson as tight ends.
TJ Hawkinson, wasn't this his rookie year?
No. You're thinking of someone else.
Year.
Yeah, this is the guy from Minnesota, the tight end from Minnesota. You're thinking of the defensive guy from Detroit.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Aaron Rodgers had the whole NFL turn on him since the whatever that word is trip.
Is that when he like said that because he wouldn't get like the shot and he said he did, but he got like some type of other treatment for during like COVID and stuff? Was that?
I have no idea.
I'm not sure.
But I mean, I don't know. Both of these teams look pretty good. I think the AFC looks a little bit better on offense, but it's hard to say, I guess.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because it all comes down to how good the coaching is, right? And when it comes down to it, you got the one coach on the AFC, then you have the greatest of all time coach in the NFC, Eli Manning. So I'm going to NFC on this one. You could take AFC with Peyton Manning as the coach if you want, but I'm going NFC on this one for the flag football game.
You going for NFC? I have to go AFC.
You want to do that?
Yeah, I'll go
That's
AFC.
fun. He took a hallucinogenic because Joe Rogan told him to. Peyton is the better QB. Okay, now hold on a second there, Gangrene. Ain't nobody said anything about anybody being the better QB or anything like that. Nobody needs to go there.
But
all I'm saying is Eli beat the Patriots.
I love their personalities, both of them. Like they're just hysterical.
All I'm saying is Eli got the same amount of Super Bowl rings as Peyton does. That's what I was trying to get at. So I don't know. When it comes down to it, you can be better all you want, but it's even fucking Steven as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, so I'm going NFC on that one. The best QBs are playing in the Super Bowl. I would have to agree with that, unfortunately. Yeah.
Same here.
Oh, I don't know. Oh man, Joe Burrow is pretty fucking good. Sorry, Af, but that's the one that kind of gets my vote this year as the greatest quarterback. First time both. Yeah. You mentioned that earlier, Gang Green. Both of them being in there is kind of crazy. As the first time, but like, I remember watching speaking of Peyton Manning and first time watching the Indianapolis Colts and Chicago Bears Super Bowl when Peyton Manning first went and won against the Bears. Going against quarterback Rex Grossman for the Bears. Like, Jesus Christ,
wow.
He was awful. But anyway, neither of the quarterbacks were black, but both of the coaches were. And it was the first time an NFL Super Bowl had been held with either of the coaches being black. They were both black. And obviously, it ended up being the first time a black coach had won a Super Bowl. So that was kind of cool to see that back then, too. And now seeing both quarterbacks being in that same department. That's cool. That's really cool.
Tony Dungy, when he
Tony Dungy and Lovie Smith.
Lovie Smith? Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Lovie Smith was the head coach of the Chicago Bears?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I wonder where he's going this year.
I don't know. He hasn't coached in so long. So for him to come back for the Texans, I'm like, why there? And then, he does what he does and just kind of is like, fuck you. I'm going to get my win where I need it.
Speaking of coaches, did you hear who's going to the Broncos?
Sean Payton. Breaking news. Sean Payton, the old New Orleans Saints coach, going to the Broncos, which means... Now, here's what's interesting about that. As if Broncos fans didn't have enough to be pissed off about with how much their GM is just like, let's trade the whole team for Russell Wilson, all the future draft picks. We got to get Russell Wilson. They do that. And then they go, you know what? That didn't work out because we don't have the right coach. Let's trade the whole team again for the right coach. Now, what happens if Sean Payton isn't the answer? That is going to be at least 5 years of pissed off Broncos fans because it's going to be a lot to repair after that.
Lovie Smith does have an awesome beard.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. The recent one? Yeah. All right. So Pro Bowls talked about. You love his name, Lovie Smith?
Lovie. Like.
Did you ever watch a Pro Bowl before?
No.
There's not much. There never has been much to it because, like I said, the fun parts never got televised. The only thing that got televised was the game itself, and it was always just like they're not even tackling each other. They used to do flag football with celebrities, and that used to be fun as fuck to watch.
On MTV, wasn't it? Yeah. MTV or something? I remember watching that.
But they would do it the same week as the Pro Bowl and shit.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, maybe this year would be kind of cool with the flag football thing.
But I'm interested if they show like the catches and all that kind of stuff too.
That's what I'm saying. That's going to be Thursday. Is when all of that's taking place. Then Sunday at 3 Eastern is the Pro Bowl flag football game. So it should be a good time. Next week, we're going to go really deep diving into the Super Bowl. We'll discuss our picks, who we want to win. We'll talk about the halftime, Super Bowl halftime with Rihanna. We'll talk about, commercial talk, all that shit, all the shit that you expect to hear from a football podcast. Talking about Super Bowl with Super Bowl week and all of that. You're going to hear all of that next episode. This episode, I just kind of wanted to focus more on the games that happened and save all the Super Bowl talk for next week. So I'm excited to see the two teams in there. If it had to be the Eagles, at least they're going against a team that I think can potentially beat them with the Chiefs. It'll be cool to see two like super dominant teams play against each other in a Super Bowl. That'd be a good time.
It'll be a good game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good game. Yeah, I do. I agree with that. There's going to be football at the Rihanna concert. My sister. Yeah, I mean,
to be like that. I used to be like that.
That's true.
Right? I only watched it for the halftime show.
Then there's something to be said about the wow, I lost my train of thought. Man. I'm sorry. I got thrown off here.
I'm sorry.
I was looking for it wasn't you. I was looking for a raid target, and our boy Elder is holding it down with quite a fucking viewing rate now. He's got like 70 people in his stream.
Good for him.
We're about to add to that. But
yeah.
I know what I wanted to ask you. Who do you think, if anyone, is going to be like a surprise guest for Rihanna? Don't answer it though. We're going to save that for next week. Something to think about. We'll talk about all that stuff next week. But I appreciate y'all. In the meanwhile,
thank you. Getting down to our last shows, like this one, We got 2 left next week, and then after the Super Bowl. Talk about the Super Bowl.
Yeah, we're gonna do a post Super Bowl show as well. And then after that, once we get into the off season, we're gonna have shows every once in a while. They're gonna be off season edition shows, and they're gonna be probably us like playing Madden or something along those lines. And we'll just kind of be like discussing what's happening in the off season. I think that'll be a good way to do it. Instead of having a whole ass show over like, oh, here's what happened in the past month. We can go over the draft that way. We can go over some of the off season moves and shit like that. So yeah, I think that'll be a good time. Something for the future. Good night, y'all. Me and Blaze were talking to you, but you couldn't hear it. Oh, like as in that's funny. Thanks for your trust in Philly F. I think that goes away next week. Shit.
Thanks, Gangrene. My whole family is a Phillies or Eagle fan. So I grew up around that and stuff.
Hell yeah.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in and staying with us.
Appreciate y'all for staying with us all this time, and also appreciate the kind words about the show, man. The show ain't shit without y'all. So I mean, pat yourselves on the back, right? But anyway, we're gonna dip. Love you guys. We're out of here. Let's go see what's up with Elder. Till then.
Have a good night.
Then